Welcome everyone to GamerMeld. AMD's Navi-based RX 5700 series GPUs have been out for a little while now, so most of the initial bugs should have had enough time to be ironed out and any stock issues subsided. That means it's time to really contemplate your next GPU. And if that's what you're here for, let's talk about the XFX RX 5700 XT RAW 2. And quickly, a thank you to XFX for sending me out this card. I definitely appreciate it, though it won't affect my review. Anyway, back to it. For one, the RAW 2 is kind of an odd name, like some of their other products, teetering on meme status, but hey, it can be fun not to take yourself too seriously sometimes. Luckily, the design doesn't follow that philosophy, as the RAW 2 is somewhat bare bones, but not necessarily in a bad way. See, it's not covered in RGB, it simply has a single white LED accenting the XFX logo. It also doesn't have any gaudy colors. The front is a black plastic that nicely blends into the metal backplate. Basically, the RAW 2 can work well in almost any build. With that said, the 2.5 slot design is a bit thicker than it looks in photos, but it works well enough to fill your board out. One issue I did have was pressing down the release because the backplate was further out than usual and covered up the button a bit. As for specs, the card is powered by an 8 and 6-pin power connector and it comes with stock clocks, so this isn't a factory overclocked card. Of course, you probably know the specs already, so let's get to the actual usage and performance. When it comes to getting the card set up, everything works well. A quick driver install got it up and running with no issues. After you've got it going, the fan stays off while you're doing simple tasks, which I like because it really cuts down on noise issues. I also didn't have the problem some users have seen with the XFX's thick 2 line, where the fan curve is so high that the GPU throttles because the fans didn't turn on soon enough. When it comes to actual performance, the RAW 2 did pretty well. At stock speeds, it got just over AMD's reference model. As you can see, in basically every game, it beats AMD's reference by just a couple FPS here and there, with one slight exception. In World War Z, the RAW 2 actually creamed AMD's reference model when it comes to the maximum FPS. Ultimately though, it's nothing to write home about, but considering XFX's model is priced exactly at AMD's reference, there's honestly not much to complain about either. Plus, the real difference came from noise levels and temps. The RAW 2 got much lower maximum junction and normal temperatures, and it did it a bit quieter. I say a bit because the RAW 2 had a decibel level with my phone right next to it of 47 to 48 decibels, while the reference model did it at 50 to 51. Of course, decibels aren't linear, so the difference is bigger than you think, and honestly, I could hear a difference. Plus, there is some ambient noise in my office, so that could have contributed to it. Finally, when it comes to overclocking, the RAW 2 doesn't have much headroom. While on stock speeds, I saw it get a maximum clock of over 2 GHz, while the reference model only got to around 1900. It's manually overclocking that we see another story. At 2.2 GHz, it crashed anytime I pulled up a game. I ultimately got it to 2.1 GHz with the power up 50% on Wattman, but what sucked is that performance actually went down when compared to stock in literally every game I played. Oddly enough, its time spy score drastically increased, but of course real-world performance is more important, and I think this is a good way to show the limitations of synthetic benchmarks. To make things even more odd, the reference 5700 XT did get a performance boost with my overclocking at 2.1 GHz, but if anything, it matched the RAW 2, but of course with more noise. So what does all this mean? Well, when it comes to XFX's RX 5700 XT RAW 2, it isn't an overclocking champ or even the fastest custom 5700 XT out there, but it's also much cheaper than those, and at $399, the RAW 2 beats AMD's reference model in every way possible. Basically, if you can get it at a good deal or at the same price as a reference model, you won't be disappointed. So while that does it for today, if you liked the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and let me know what your favorite custom RX 5700 XT is down in the comments below. And if you liked the video, please subscribe. And as always, have a great day.